Ciao. Welcome to the Fabric February live stream where Ben is joining us today. Welcome, Ben.
You should find a synonym for live stream that starts with F. Just saying.
Oh. Wait, which? Oh, okay.
Do you have a word in mind?
Doing this.
Live stream.
Okay, you should not just make up a word, but a for
Yeah, okay. I'm going to chat GPT this, and then we'll have that ready.
Excellent.
But welcome to this live stream, everyone that's watching. If you want to join the conversation, write some comments wherever you are, if it's on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or on YouTube, and we will bring you into the discussion because today is going to be a lot about, we're just going to have a good chat. Yes, and talk. And before we give Ben and also the Nerdycorn the stage and all the attention, we want to remind you what Fabric February is. So, Fabric February is a community-driven conference. It's happening in Oslo, Norway, 7th to 9th of February, because we have expanded, which is really cool. It's not only the main conference day, 8th of February, but it's now also a pre-con and a post-con, or more post-cons, actually. You can do multiples. So, what are those? Catherine, do you want to tell us a bit about how would you do the full Fabric February journey?
Okay, so we have a couple of different options. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to make sure that everyone, whether you're a seasoned pro or brand new to Fabric, that you could get something out of Fabric February. So we created this little journey for you. So if you are brand new to Microsoft Fabric, you can go ahead and start with our wonderful pre-con training day with the guys in a cube, or guy in a cube. It's always awkward. Guys in a cube? Yeah. Anyway, Adam and Patrick are coming, and both of them are coming. So the last time we announced this, we only had Patrick confirmed. And then I guess Adam, he was just like, I need to join in because this is so awesome. So he decided to join as well. So that is really cool. It's called Harnessing the Power of Microsoft Fabric, and they will walk you through all the parts of Fabric and give you a solid foundation for the main Fabric February event. And that is a day full of sessions where you can then go and pick and choose what parts of Fabric you want to learn more about, and go to the sessions, learn a little bit more, maybe dive into some topics that you're not that familiar with. And then finally, if you realize that, okay, we want even more out of Fabric February, we want to dive deeper into a specific topic, we have 3 post-con workshops. And Emily, maybe you want to walk us through the 3 different options that people can choose from?
Yeah. So the good thing about these 3 post-cons that you can attend is that they are very role specific. So if you are a data analyst, you can join Benny on his session that will deep dive into Fabric and how you can use Fabric for your role. And then we also have one for...
Just want to also mention, so it's not only Benny, Asgeir and Just will also join. Sorry about the slide. It's not updated, but there's more experts. Yes, so you're going to get even more experts than just Benny for the data analyst one. Yes. And then, sorry, Emily, the next one.
The next one. Yeah, and the next one, which is maybe if I can have a favorite, this is my favorite, just because I'm also a data engineer. So Luke Maloney is also coming to show us everything about how you can use Fabric as a data engineer and how you can utilize everything from ingestion data until making it ready for a data analyst. So that is also very, very awesome. I think I'm going to try to join that one if I'm allowed. We'll see. And then the final one is for, I guess, Martha's people, the data governance people.
Not people.
Yeah.
Not people.
So Gabby and Anton is coming and showing us also how we can dig deep into Fabric in terms of being a governance lead, because that's something that we haven't really touched upon until now. So it's going to be very exciting to see how you, as a data governance person within your organization, can really get Fabric to function the way you want.
Mm-hmm. So you have the introduction the first day, then you can dive into your favorite topics on the main conference day, and then you can dig deep into the topic on the role that you have or want to have, or your team is working on in Fabric. If you want to follow us and know what's happening and when it's happening and get tickets and so on, you can follow us on LinkedIn or Twitter, or subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and also join our newsletter if you are interested in getting some perks, because that's where we might be getting our super subscribers that we appreciate a lot, some extra benefits on the tickets. Yes, that's like the tip of the day.
If someone wants to join Fabric February next year, how would they go ahead and start speaking?
Excellent question.
All right, so that was the bridge. Okay, so yeah, this is the introduction, and then we can head over to the main topic. So that's Ben. You are one of our sponsors, and we're really, really happy that you're joining. So Ben is one of the fantabulous Fabric February sponsors, which also means the foodie sponsors. You are responsible for the snacks.
Now that you say that, I think I should have another piece of chocolate.
Really, really important work and job and role. Yeah, the most important sponsor, I think, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Might be. Okay, so Ben, who are you?
Maybe to add on to your last comment first, given how many times I've been dinged in session feedback that coffee or food wasn't good, I'm going to say yes, the snacks and food sponsors are the most important ones. They basically ensure speakers get good feedback. Who am I? What a philosophical question. I'm Ben. Hello. I've learned from Catherine, that's how she introduced in our podcast recently when I asked her who she was. I'm running a small consultancy firm out of Nuremberg, Germany called Solution. We do mostly data warehousing and BI, business analytics stuff and all like that. And besides that, from time to time, I'm doing some stuff in the community, like speaking or organizing an event or two, together with my good friend, the Nerdycorn. And also on the event side, together with my good friend, William.
I mean, mention William too, but the Nerdycorn, that might be. So who is the Nerdycorn, Ben?
The Nerdycorn is my closest friend ever. No, so I don't even know when we started the Nerdycorn. I'm going to say 6 years-ish or 6-ish years ago. Maybe even a bit longer than that. When we started sponsoring community events, the first bigger event we sponsored was the German SQL Saturday back then. And we realized fairly this is not the place for us to find like new customers. We don't have a product, so we're not a product vendor or anything. Mm-hmm. So this was more to do something fun. So whenever we do something at the German SQL Saturday, for example, we have something to play there or some. We're like, well, we're gonna need some kind of roll up, but there is no point in just putting the company logo on there. So we started with the mascot, and it only started being on that single banner, and that was it. And then people were like, okay, maybe I'm too late, but where are the stickers? Are there any T-shirts? And we're like, oh, I didn't really fully think that through. Apparently, I started something, and then out of that, a bunch of swag was born. And at this point, I don't even remember what we all have. We have squishy toys. We have Bluetooth speakers. We have, I mean, Catherine has a full collection. We have USB thumb drives. For some people, don't even realize that they are thumb drives until very recently. When Ree was like, I was just dusting, and only now I realized that thing that Ben gave me like 4 years ago is actually a thumb drive. It's full of surprises.
Cool. So it's just your best friend turned merch, turned famous, really. So now the Nerdycorn is part of the group.
Correct. Nerdycorn also found a couple of friends over the years. The Nerdmännchen, which is a meerkat, but the German word for meerkat is Erdmännchen, so you just at the end it becomes Nerdmännchen, so it's way funnier in German than it is in any other language, but they're cute enough as it is, so it's fine. Just this year, we found our new friend Tabirella, which is a tapir, because we're now also the food sponsor for the tapirs at the Nuremberg Zoo, so kind of giving some context here. And yeah. to kind of circle back to Catherine's original question, what could people do if they want to speak at Fabric February 2025?
Yes.
Cutting it a bit closer, 2024. When I started speaking in 2016 at actually SQL Saturday Vienna, which was my first ever SQL Saturday, one of the things I realized is, besides that, you actually have to think about something to talk about and something that not everybody else in their cat are talking about, etc., etc. It's a struggle. It's really it was a fight to get accepted for the first, not just conferences, but also even user groups, to get them to respond in parts. I was like, okay, this should not be that hard. So 1 year later, I got involved into, I think in 2016, it was when William also started back then SQL Grill, which is now Data Grill. And I started co-organizing it with him the year after, because that also turned out to become bigger than originally anticipated. It was planned as a small friends and family barbecue with like 10 people. And it has now grown into a 250, 300 people event. And while we were sitting at the speaker dinner, I had one of my infamous beer ideas. So I was like, you know what, tomorrow in the keynote, I'm going to announce the newcomer track, and we're going to do that next year. And we're only going to have new speakers that never spoke anywhere else. And as always, William was like, sounds like a good idea, I'm in. That's how the newcomer track was born.
Cool.
And we've been doing it every year since, except for the years where we didn't do it because there was this something pandemic thing.
Yeah.
You may have heard about it. I don't know if it was a thing in Norway, but
not the
no,
coolest
we didn't have it in Norway.
We celebrated it heavily here for 3 years, so it was a blast.
Nerdycorn mask.
Well played. I actually forgot about the mask. Nice. So another event was born, which is called New Stars of Data, which is basically the virtual copy of the newcomer track. So New Stars of Data is one of the very few events that we will keep doing virtual. I'm honestly kind of done with virtual events, to be honest. But I also understand that it's a bit of a barrier for people to travel as a first-time speaker, and that it's way more inclusive on doing these things in a virtual setting.
Yes,
So,
I agree. I think
even with the pandemic being over, we will publish our newcomer track schedule for the next Data Grill at the end of this week. But for the next New Stars of Data, the call for speakers is actually still open. So for those that are interested in it, why not submit? But I have a counter question for, I'm going to say, two of you. What is it like to present at New Stars of Data?
Who wants to go first? So this is Emily and me, I think, right? This is a question for us. Yes, because we
I'm pretty
started
sure
out with
Catherine
New
was
Stars
a
of Data.
speaker before New Stars of Data was a thing. So
yeah, she's the OG. She's the GOAT in the group. So yeah, that's what we've named her. But so I was the first. I was on the first ever New Stars of Data, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember a colleague of mine. We were colleagues back then. Johan Ludvig Brattås. He's also a speaker. He told me, "Oh, there's this new thing. You can try that out, and then I will help you." And so on. So he was the one giving me the idea that, New Stars of Data exists. But I remember when I was submitting, I really didn't understand what it was, which was, I think, a good thing in a way, because that's how you learn. And I wouldn't have figured it out if I wasn't part of that New Stars. So, but I got a lot of help. So because you're assigned a mentor, right? Then every time you're joining, or if you're submitting and if you're chosen, you get a mentor. So I got a lot of help on how to present, what to present about. So for me, that was the hardest part, finding the topic. Like, what should I talk about? And I was pretty new in the field in general. So I felt like I knew nothing and I couldn't contribute with anything. So I had to get some help with, okay, you can actually talk about this one little thing inside of Power BI, or you can talk about the entire journey of a data platform going from source to, anything is really allowed. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I learned a lot from that. session and from doing that. So if I hadn't done that, I'm not sure if I would have ever like joined the data community really, because I was so, I didn't know anything, but then I learned a lot from that experience.
Also,
Yeah.
adding to that, it's not like just everything is allowed, which it is a true and fair statement. But I think the other important part is that really everybody has a story to tell, because I keep having these conversations with people that are like, yeah, I'm not going to go into speaking because I'm not a super deep expert on anything. And then you start having that conversation where like, so what is it you do on a day-to-day job? And then they tell you, oh, I do this and this. And just yesterday I wrote this script that figured out this and that afternoon. I'm like, and you got nothing to talk about. Exactly. So I do understand, and I fully accept if someone's like, yeah, I really don't want to get into speaking because I'm too frightened to get on a stage, or I just don't like it. And then those might be people that might be more suited to potentially start blogging if they still get a story to share, but want to share it in different ways, or make it a podcast or whatever. But the only excuse that does not count is I don't have a story to tell, because everybody does.
I agree.
How was you right now?
How was your first presentation ever in New Stars?
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning, because like you said, Marta, you were on the first New Stars of Data. I didn't join until the 5th. So
late.
Yeah. No, but just
whoa.
imagine how long Marta had to like push me to get started, or just find a topic to talk about. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not an expert, yada, yada, yada. Like, yeah. Everyone says before they get started. I still have those thoughts sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I finally had an evening in January this year, actually, where I decided where I decided
this is happening this year.
Yeah. And I poured myself a large cup of something red that adults drink. And I got creative, and I created I created a lot of abstracts, and then I sent it to Marta because she was going to remember if I was going to do this at all. And then she was like, they are amazing, submit them all. And I did. And one of them got picked. And then then the I would say the hard part started, because then I actually had to create the presentation and really prepare for May 12th, which was the date where it happened. But it was really great, and I do also like the fact that it was virtual, because it is kind of scary to be speaking in front of a lot of people for the first time, and just having the ability to talk in front of people that really want to be there and really want to support the New Stars as well is it's a great benefit. And then also there are so many people from around the world that are interested in this field, so allowing them also to join the sessions is really, really nice.
Agree. So it lowers the barrier a bit.
Yeah, it does. So yeah,
that's crazy, Emily, that you've done all these things this year.
I know.
I was going to say that was only this year. And then let me help co-organize this thing. Let me run my own conference. So let me go to a SQL conference. Let me go to Data Minds. Let me go to the PASS Summit, because why not?
And can you hear me now, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then not just that, but like not even a year since your first speaking event, you're doing a full pre-con at SQL Blitz.
Oh yes.
So
there's also that.
I know. So if you have any doubts that you can become a star, New Stars of Data is actually a really good name for it.
Yeah, great. You're sort of the proof, Emily. You just like in months, you're inspiration. That's crazy.
But you both are, and everyone really. It was also so very fun.
Yeah, it was so fun to meet all the other people that had started with New Stars at PASS as well.
People that I knew before they were famous.
Where's the sticker, Ben?
Yeah,
Do you
where's
have the sticker?
I'm so not prepared. Damn it! I mean, the sticker is in a
Oh,
box
Emily
somewhere
got this.
over
Oh, I
there.
might even have the sticker.
There we
Yes.
go.
That is me. That is Martha. And that's Ben.
I have it too. Oh well, I'm making a mess on my desk now.
And I'm also fangirling.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I actually
No.
have two.
Nobody likes the show of Emily. Just saying. Anyway,
Yeah. And
Oh, I found it.
now
you
we're
need
talking.
to. Yes,
Now,
I've got.
the sticker game is.
Yes, I have all the Nerdycorn swag, I think.
I before I actually got some. Yeah, I got also a Nerdycorn swag pin. Before I started to like go to conferences to get stickers myself, I always asked you, Ludwig, to bring me stickers, and you always brought the sparkly ones because you knew that that's the ones that I like the most. So stickers are life in the data community.
They are.
Yay! We have some
it's very
new
much a
stars
thing.
joining on the chat as well.
Yes.
Elena, you're one of them.
And yeah, Avi and Elena are two other great examples of those really jump starting out of the last news. And that's what we see with so far every single edition. I mean, it has grown bigger than we thought it would. So for the past editions, we always had like 20-ish sessions. We usually plan with like 21, and then you always have 1 or 2 last-minute cancellations. And obviously, with an event like New Stars, you cannot fill those slots on last minute, because if it's a regular event, you're just like, hey, I know 10 people at this event that can give a presentation in like 2 minutes because they have the slides and everything ready. And they'll just, obviously, for a first presentation, especially with all that mentoring approach and everything, that is not happening. So we then end up with sometimes 18, sometimes 19, 20 ish sessions. And out of those, there's always a handful of people like you, but also Avi and Elena. Or for example, Haney, who was also on the first. Haney was supposed to present on the 2020 newcomer track at Grillen, which then did not happen. So she was also on the first New Stars of Data. And just like Martha, at this point, she's a data platform MVP. I got to present a pre-con with her at the PASS Summit last month, which was amazing. So we always have that handful of people that really keep going super strong. And you have a handful of people that are like, okay, that was interesting, but it wasn't for me, which is also cool. And then you just got those that do it on an occasional level. But it is always fun to see where these journeys take people. Not everybody's pushing it to the same extreme like Emilia, but
or Martha.
Yeah, but I've spent years, Emily. It's different. You're just doing it in months.
In your defense, you had a pandemic that kind of stopped you from running an in-person conference about
I'll
half
use
a
that.
year
Yeah,
after.
that's my excuse, and I'm going with it.
I'm going to say it's more than an excuse, because it did stop a thing or two from happening for a while. So.
Oh, I did. Okay, but how? So because Ben, what should you do? So now, because now I feel like hopefully everyone is really inspired to join New Stars of Data.
Let me just hit F5 on who submitted today for the event. Okay, nobody in the last 20 minutes. Disappointing.
People submit. No, but so maybe they're not sure how they actually submit, what they need to do. Yeah. Do you need to write something? Do you need to talk to someone?
So
how do you do it?
What you do is you go to newstarsofdata.com, and we have a link to the call for speakers. And generally, call for speakers is the starting point for every single quiz, which sounds like something super self-explaining and something super obvious if you've done it 10, 15 or more times. If you've never attended as a speaker at a conference, that may be so there's this amazing website called Sessionize that almost all of the cool events these days use. I want to say almost all of them. Not pointing fingers at anybody, but anyway, which is also super helpful, because you can then not somebody in this room, But this is one of the, and also the fabulous people, and I'm using fabulous deliberately here, at Session Eyes, they also give access to their tool for free if you're running a community event. So kudos for that. Getting back to what people need to do. You submit one or multiple abstracts. So what is the title of your session and what is the content? And at New Stars or the newcomer track, and we're not the only ones doing that at this point. So Data Scotland is doing the same thing. Data Minds, Connect is doing the same thing. More and more events are actually running newcomer tracks, which is great, because that also helps with spreading it out regionally. Because again, especially for in-person events, it is a huge barrier, and it is, especially if you've never presented anywhere before, it might be a really hard sell to your employer to send you to a conference that's on the other side of the world. I may not really like it, but please send me there for a lot of money, and then I'm going to tell you afterwards how that worked out.
And the social aspect too, right? Because you might not know anyone, or maybe you sort of depended on someone that's sort of taking you and bringing you and introducing you. So
that would only be an issue if some of us would be introverts. We don't have introverts in the tech community, right?
No introverts in tech. Yeah.
But let's just assume for a second that would be a very valid point as well. What I was going for, usually those abstracts are what you're being rated on when you're submitting a session. So the ultimate goal is the perfect abstract. I'm very far away from ever submitting the perfect. I don't even believe the perfect abstract exists. But it still shows how much effort someone put into. Hey, the other Ben, hi. How much effort somebody put into their abstract or not. By the way, Ben also started at New Stars of Data, just saying. I got my peeps here.
The Power BI guy started in New Stars of Data.
At newcomer tracks or New Stars of Data or similar events, the quality of the abstract is not as important as it would be for a quote-unquote normal event. All we look for is, do we feel like you have an idea of what you can talk about for an hour? Because one of the first things you will do with your mentor is actually tweaking that. And if your abstract is only one single sentence, like your session title is migrating SSIS package to the cloud, and your abstract is this session is about migrating SSIS packages, I'm going to say, okay, even for a newcomer session, that's a bit slim. If you just put in a couple of bullet points, hey, this is kind of the flow that I'm thinking of, maybe a couple of ideas on what your demos might be, if you're doing demos, etc. Give me an idea of what you think your session might roughly look like. It doesn't have to be perfect, because again, one of the first things your mentor will do with you is work on that abstract. But you will be the one that needs to have an idea. If you don't have an idea, reach out to me and we will talk about what you do in your either day job or what you're otherwise passionate about. Because maybe it's not something that maybe you're like in the financial sector, so you can't fully talk about what you do at work, but you did some automation at home where you're collecting data on your plants or your pets. And I'm not making up those stories, because it's actually things some people in our community are doing. And maybe that's something you want to present on. At the last Data Grill, Ben Kettner was presenting a session where he was using an IoT sensor on how he was smoking his meat, which was also very much on brand with the event. So it does not have to be work related. It just needs to be related to something that where you feel like, hey, Rosie. Sorry, all this. Maybe we should just hide the chat instead of just saying hi to all the people. But hello.
Rose is just saying there's no introverts in tech. Yeah.
Yeah, she's basically confirming to what we said. So, yeah, come up with an idea or two. If you do not have any idea, talk to some of your friends, or again, feel free to reach out to myself, and I'm happy to have a chat about what it is you do and what you're passionate about, what you have fun talking about. It doesn't even have to be something technical, because it might. I'm giving a presentation at Fabric February, for example, and I know nothing about Fabric, so I will not be talking about Fabric.
You are.
But I will basically be talking about what we're talking about here today.
Yes. So this is a session. So you're gonna fueling your future, embracing the rewards of data platform community involvement. That Ben session. So check that out. That's on the main conference day. And also, Ben, you will be visible somehow during the
Oh,
conference.
I've heard.
We're going to make sure
There
that
will
people
be a
see you.
hat. A very colorful and nice hat. It will go great with your glasses, actually.
Okay, I'm getting more and more of an idea of what this hat will look like. Whatever it is, I'll roll with it. So the idea was because, like I said, I'm always there for a chat, and I will be there for a chat at Fabric February.
Yes.
And these
So
three
then you
ladies
know who it
just
is, because
joined
we'll
me
be
for an
wearing
event here in Nuremberg, and we was like, how can we do that? Because it's especially new people, they have no idea who I am. If we tell them talk to Ben, they will have no idea who to talk to. And then I think Martha came up with the idea, maybe he'll just wear a fun hat. And apparently that hat has now been found.
It has. We're ready with the hat.
I'm between excited and scared. That's what I'm saying.
As you should.
No, it's a
Title
great
of my
hat.
memoir.
Yeah, but that makes you visible, right? So hopefully that also makes it less scary, maybe, to approach you and ask questions and talk to you about how you can get involved in the community locally or also internationally, because a lot can happen online. You don't have to travel, but you can if you want to. And yeah, and also obviously
Maybe
if
even
you
to a big
are,
event like the Pass Summit or so next year.
yes, like the bigger ones or sequel bits. So there's so many opportunities if you want to get involved, and so many ways of doing it. It doesn't have to be technical, or you don't have to be like someone else you've seen doing something. You can do it your own way. That is also going to work.
And also, I'm going to say pretty much all of the previous new stars are very approachable. So maybe you find someone that is from your region, or Elena just started something where people can just schedule a coffee chat with her.
Yes.
So basically just block like 30 minutes, have a coffee with her and chat about pretty much anything. And one of those things might be on how to take your first steps in the speaking/speaker world. So yeah, take people up on those opportunities. And even if it's just to figure out, okay, maybe I'm not there yet because I still have to figure. Maybe I will not submit to the next new stars, but the one afterwards. But get those ideas started and then just see where it leads you.
Well, and also Power BI guy got a great tips here. So because when you're writing the abstracts and the sessions, try and make them, I don't know, cool or sexy or something that you're like, oh wow, I want to watch that session. So instead of doing Power BI governance, you say, how can I build trust into my Power BI world and make everyone love the reports? Wow, that was a great title.
Takes notes.
Yeah, but try and make it engaging and a bit eye-catching. That's a great tip. It will make it easier to get selected.
I have a question. So I know you said that there are no introverts in tech.
Maybe I lied.
If you lied a little bit. So if we rewind about 10 years, we got to the point where I went to my first ever conference. And back then, the people that I meet now, they don't believe me when I say this, but back then I was so shy, so socially awkward that I could barely talk to people. And like at that point, I would be like, if anyone told me, just go ahead and submit to this thing, I would like, heck no. I have nothing to say. This is scary, and I can't come up with cool, fancy titles and things like that. What would be your best tips to just take that first step? Because I'm sure there are a lot of people who see, this group who have met Elena, and they're like, oh, they're so talented and they're outgoing and it looks so easy for them, but I'm not like you. Like, what tips would you give to those who are kind of scared to take that step, but maybe they're like, maybe this could be good for me? So Ben, let's start with you.
I'm going to say if that's kind of your first, probably start attending the first couple of events from an attendee perspective, just to get a grasp for how welcoming this community really is. It still means you will have to talk to people that you've never met before, and I still understand that that alone might be a big barrier and first step, but this community is really super, super welcoming to everyone. So you will see that you will be welcome and included at these events. And that part is obviously way easier at the in-person events than the virtual, because at the virtual events, yes, from time to time someone unmutes themselves, but it's not even remotely the same thing. So, or if there's no bigger or proper or whatever you want to call it event near you, I'm pretty sure there will be a user group nearby. There's basically user groups everywhere. If you go to the website of the Azure Data Community, there's an AKMS link that I do not have from the top of my head, but just search for Azure Data Community. You will find that there's more than 100,000 members in these communities worldwide. So I'm 100% sure there is a virtual, hybrid, and in-person user group near you talking about topics that you care about. There might be a specific Power BI/Fabric or a more broader data platform or whatever user group. And they just usually meet on a monthly, bi-monthly, twice a month, different cadence basis with, again, people presenting. That might also be a good step. We encourage our new speakers to present at a user group first, again, to get a good idea on timing, what works, what does not work so well. So make your first step in that community before being an active part of the community would be one thing I'm saying, and just see how welcoming and how easy this community makes it for people. I still do understand that this might be a big step for people, and then just start talking to these people like, oh, they seem to, but oh, they're all, because most of the newer speakers, they will be very open about, hey, I just started at this and this event less than a year ago, and so you will know who to talk to, because I do understand that it's different if you're talking to someone like, yeah, but you've been doing this for 10 years or whatever. That's different. But there's so many new faces, and we get more and more new faces basically on a monthly level, starting at user groups and events, etc., etc. Talk to these people, talk about what maybe they struggled with and how they dealt with it. And again, most of these people are very open to sharing their experiences and helping you make that first step.
Right. Emily, you were lucky because you kind of already had Marta, right?
Yeah.
And I pulled in. I spent years trying to convince you. No kidding. It took some convincing.
It did. It took some time, and that was mostly because like we've already talked about, being scared of or having that imposter syndrome is kind of, it's difficult to work around, even if you want to, and that doesn't just relate to speaking in a data community. It's also about, me being a consultant might sometimes experience imposter syndrome. And when you're at your client, you're able to kind of move past that because you need to do a job. And so, but it's harder when it's something personal, when you're doing something for yourself and not for a client or for work. Or so trying to have the same mindset as when you're with a client or at work or with a colleague, that you just wanna help. So if you can look at submitting an abstract as wanting to help, it might become a bit easier than having the mindset that you are an expert in that field and you need to know absolutely everything about the topic that you're talking about. Otherwise, there's no point in submitting. But if you can help with just a small part for someone else to understand just that teeny tiny bit of Azure or storage account or ADF, then that session is absolutely worth holding at the conference or a user group session or something similar. And but it doesn't hurt either to reach out to people that are already in the community and asking them and talking to them as well, because like Ben has already mentioned, the community is really open and the focus on including everyone. So if you need somebody to push you to do it, then reach out. We can even have a glass of the red adult drink.
The adult snacks.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I agree with everything that's been said here. And for me, I wouldn't have joined if someone hadn't told me or showed me the way. So if Johan hadn't, or I heard him talk about traveling and presenting at some point during a lunch or something, and then I asked, and then he was just, oh, but you can join. This is how you do it. So I'm not sure if I would have known. Hopefully I would, but maybe not if he hadn't reached out. So if anyone sees this, or if you are thinking about starting, it's a great idea to just try and reach out to someone that you've seen in the community. You can do it on LinkedIn really easily, and I think most of us will reply. I have had people contacting me on LinkedIn and asking if we can meet on the conference, or if we can have a chat and so on, so that you don't feel that alone. And then you have that first connection that can help you, like to show you where to go or how to do it. So try and reach out. And if you're an introvert, it's okay to do it on LinkedIn, and then have that connection, not in real life the first time. Yeah.
And that's also great to mention that's why we put up the contact information on the slides or kind of blast it out on the.
We want to be contacted.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think this community is known for being aggressively friendly. Like if you just even slightly mention, hey, this sounds kind of interesting, you have 15 people going like, let me help you. Please come here, join us, be a part of this group. We'll help you with the abstract, with the titles, reviewing that, with the slides, presentation techniques, like anything that you feel like I could get some input on that, like you will have the entire community just basically just being aggressively friendly, trying to help you succeed. Because we know that the more people we get into this community, the better off we are. And we want people that, especially the people who feel like they don't have anything to contribute, because they have those stories that we need to hear. So yeah, I am super happy, Ben, that you started New Stars of Data and
Me
the
too.
newcomer track. And I think it's a great idea.
And also maybe a reminder for those that think they need to be experts, adding on to what Emilia said earlier. First of all, no. And second of all, also, and that also goes to the seasoned speakers, we also need those introductory sessions. And I think Fabric is a prime example, because it is still, I'm not going to say brand new, but fairly new out there. So there's tons of people like myself that have no idea about what it actually does, what it actually is, etc. If all there is are these expert sessions in how to fine-tune your lakehouse to the latest percent of performance improvement, whatever, I have no idea what any of these words mean. So even if I attended that session, it wouldn't get me anywhere. So and
you're gonna learn a lot on Fabric February, Ben.
Thank you. That's why I'm attending. And obviously because I'm going to have a fancy hat.
Yes.
And the snacks. Yes.
Which reminds me, I should probably have another chocolate.
Why? I only have my coffee.
That's also considered a snack. A drinkable
It is,
snack.
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of good.
It is considered a snack.
Yeah, because if you had like coffee beans covered in chocolate, it's a snack. So this is basically just...
It's part of the snack.
Yeah.
The way I understood Martha is she more has like brewed coffee in a mug, but I might have misunderstood that part. What I'm going to say is it sounds like a you problem. My snack responsibility starts on Fabric February. That's when I'm responsible for snacks. Until then, please, people, focus. We're all professionals. Make sure you got all the snacks. Please.
We'll try and do better. Yes, we will.
Oh, for everybody out there, you don't have to become a speaker, but make sure you stock up on snacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that we also have one more input from Power BI Guy. Yes. So yeah, Power BI community has a very high number of people who didn't come to data via what is considered a traditional route. Many of us know how it is, how it feels to be nervous to present technical stuff, and I agree. It's a really good point.
And not just that, just think about all the people who are coming straight out of school, of universities and colleges, and maybe they have, more a financial background. Maybe they come from a programming background. There are very few who specialize like in data and analytics. And if you are wondering like what you can share, you don't have to be an expert. Tell your story, tell how you learned a topic, and think about how you would help yourself a year ago. Like that in itself is super valuable. If you got stuck on something, if something was confusing to you, just like Emily said, try and help them to not spend as much time as you did, and you have a perfect session right there.
Yes, agree.
And you're learning a lot. The recording of Rosie's session from this year's SQL, one of Rosie's sessions actually. Rosie gave a session on how she basically becomes self-taught in the data field because she did not have the employer support and all that, where you just grow into that kind of role, describing because that what Catherine just described is also something we often see, someone who's a developer who then grows more into the data field, or something is happening and the DBA all of a sudden becomes the Azure admin or whatever. But there's also those of us that made it into there without having any connect, but also without having any employer support. So that is also a great session to watch on that topic.
Yes, and where can we find all of these amazing recorded videos, Ben?
So, full disclosure, the video I just mentioned will not be at that link because it wasn't at Grillen, but it was at Bits.
Oh, okay. But new source of data.
I was going at that link, you will find all the recordings from all the virtual events we did over the past couple of years under the Data Grillen umbrella. So you will find new stars of data. You will find data minutes, which is also a fun concept that I think we should do again at some point because it was basically 90 lightning talks in a day. It wasn't as fun moderating that day, but and even less fun editing all the videos, but that's a different story. But also all the previous new stars of data sessions, our very recent event, Data Left Unattended, that we just had 2 weeks ago. So yeah, you will find all those recordings there, and this is also where you will find Rosie's first ever session, by the way.
There's so much good stuff you can check out.
YouTube is your friend.
YouTube is your friend.
Yes, yeah.
And the Nerdycorn.
The Nerdycorn is your friend. I mean, look at that.
Number one friend.
Wait, where did my sticker go? I messed up my system.
All right, so Ben, very important question. Will there be Nerdycorn themed snacks in February?
Way to put me on the spot.
Sorry, not sorry.
I'm going to say, as you remember when I introduced myself earlier today, I'm a consultant. So the answer is it depends. I will have to have a chat with the fabulous organizers of Fabric February what can be done. And then we will see if there's a possibility of us having. I mean, we've had Nerdycorn themed snacks before because we had delicious wasabi mustard sauce nuts. So that's a different story. So we can have those for sure, but maybe we come up with another idea or 5, which is
but the green theme is good. I think. I mean, we should lean into the green. Yeah.
Very good. Because what many people don't know is that Catherine actually had the idea for a lot of the existing Nerdycorn swag. So
you did?
Wow.
A couple of things. I think my bag is full. It's like half of it is just Nerdycorn stuff. But I know that this thing here.
So what you're saying is we should have a Nerdycorn bag.
I have that one and I love it.
So yeah. It's a tiny little thing, and then you can just put it on a table, and you can hang your bag or purse or jacket or.
Why don't I have that? Ben?
Yeah, I mean now when it's snowy
It
and
sounds
you know
like a you problem again. Also,
I'm not sure if I agree.
I'm pretty sure I gave you one, but maybe not. I will bring one for you.
I mean,
or maybe I stole Martha's one.
because that has happened.
No.
That idea was actually born at a bar at the Oslo Central Station. I was presenting at the Oslo user group. We were going for a beer or two. I kind of have the feeling that it always comes back to me drinking beer at some place, and then someone has an idea, and then something new happens, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Not complaining about that beer. So this is where that bagnet came. Up to that point, I had no idea bagnets were a thing, but
Yeah, so basically, if you have any ideas for swag or new conference ideas, get Ben. He'll be wearing a fun hat, and just throw it to him, and then it happens. It's easy.
Again, thanks for putting me on the spot.
You're welcome.
That's also how you make things happen.
True story. And usually it's not like people really have to fight me on stuff like this. I'm very appreciative of ideas like that, so it's fine.
All right, but I think we're done putting you on the spot, Ben.
For now.
For now.
Yes.
I have to call my local baker now before some snacks.
Yeah, I do think the most important thing is like we veer off when we're talking about snacks and swag, but the important thing is hearing stories from people, right, and learning from them and helping them get involved in the community.
Yes.
And again, you are one of the people who are amazing at doing that and introducing people to other and just kind of like spread the network. So yeah, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for running this fabulous conference. Thank you for having me at that conference. And I'm very much looking forward to it, not just because of the swag and the snacks, but also because of all the new fabulous people that I haven't met yet that I will meet then, that I will then have known before they became Finns.
All right. Oh, that's great. We hope that we've inspired you to join the community, start as a new speaker, and you can find Ben at Fabric February.
See you there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.